What's up, everybody? So today we'll be working on the Explorer. It's been a little while since you guys have seen this vehicle, but it's back. It's got a little bit of an issue with it. We got to fix some stuff on it. So this will be kind of like a maintenance thing. It is gonna kind of a learning thing for us. I mean, you and I have never done this, but basically what had happened is you and I were working on a starter in her truck. My mom had called and she said the Explorer was kind of driving really weird. Stuff was happening with it. So we went over, checked it out, and the ABS was like kicking on. Traction control light was kicked on. For some reason it was going into four-wheel drive, so we didn't really know what was going on with it. So we brought it back home, hooked a scan tool up to it, and it ended up throwing a code for the front left wheel speed sensor, which is the driver's side, and that's what we're going to be fixing today. But I guess it's not really just the wheel speed sensor, because most of the time the reason the wheel speed sensor starts acting up is because of the wheel bearing. Now, I had heard when we were driving this around, I could hear a little bit of a humming noise, so I figured today's the day.
Why not?
Might as well replace real wheel bearings on it. And luckily Ford does make them so they are like a full hub assembly, so I don't have to press anything in. We just have to put new hubs on, which is what we have. You guys can see here, those are the two new hubs, because if you're gonna replace one, you might as well replace both of them. So that'll be the job today. This will be a little bit of a challenge. But yeah, we have it here in the garage. You guys can see it's halfway in the garage. It's not quite all the way in, just because this vehicle is pretty big. And this wall's here, so in order to access that front wheel over there, we don't have enough room, so that's why it's kind of parked halfway. And yes, we probably could have done this outside, but unfortunately I think it's gonna rain, and I don't want to get trapped outside with the raining. I just want to go ahead and get this thing done. So for now, let's go ahead and jack this thing up, get the wheels off, and start working on it. Okay, so we just managed to get the wheel and tire off. So next up, we got to take this axle nut off, which we already did. We loosened this one up and the one on the other side just to make things a little bit easier while the vehicle was on the ground, so we could break it loose, because we don't really have an impact on here or anything. Yeah. So we just did that on the ground and then fully went ahead and loosened it up now. This is a 30mm nut on this. It's a 04 XLT. I don't know if it's different. Everywhere else I saw online, people were saying 30 or 32, but for this specific model, it's a 30mm. So now we have that loose. I'm going to leave it here for now, and next up we're going to take the caliper off, which I believe is two 18mm bolts in the back. You can see the one right here, and then there's one directly below it right there. So we'll get those two broke loose and get this whole assembly out of the way, and then move on to the next step. Alright, well, that was kind of convenient. The caliper and the rotor pretty much like stay together, as you guys can see there. So we got that out of the way. It's just sitting there on this bucket here, keeping it elevated, that we're not twisting like any of the brake lines or anything. Next up, let's go ahead and like kind of hammer this back in. And then it looks like we should be able to disconnect the wheel speed sensor here. I don't know if I can see. I'm gonna grab a light real quick here. It's pretty dark. Wish we had more light on this side.
You need to get some brighter bulbs or something.
Yep. But yeah, you can see there's the wheel speed sensor, so that could come out. And then
yeah, this looks pretty crusty.
These are threaded, so it comes in on the back side, which, let me see your light real quick.
Are they? Yeah.
Yep, they're right there. You can see it. Yeah, right there, right next to the axle. Yep, there's 3 of them. So we'll have to get those broke loose and then see how hard it is to get this thing off. We'll probably need a hammer, so I don't know, we'll see how this goes. Okay, as far as this axle goes, I just want to have it threaded out just enough so it's flush. That way I don't like mushroom top the head of it. Okay, so just like that, we got that hammered in. So now we can go ahead and take this nut off just like that. And see, didn't damage it. The nut is still okay. I think they recommend that you get new nuts, but we didn't get any with our kits, so we'll have to reuse these for now. Okay, so next up we can go ahead and take our 15mm socket, put it on the back of here. You can see there now I have enough clearance between this and the axle. That was the reason for hammering this in, was just to give us enough room because nothing would fit. So now we have that. We'll take a extension and go ahead and get those 3 bolts out next. Okay, so we just managed to get those bolts out. That sucked.
Awful.
That really sucked. That was a pain. You're supposed to be able to hammer back that CV axle and gives you enough room to access and get a socket and stuff on there.
You can get a socket on there.
Yeah, you can't really get the wrench or nothing on there, and then using the breaker bar and stuff. I mean, we managed to get these off. The heads are pretty well
pretty,
rounded.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, the new hub does come with new bolts, so
We need to tighten them.
that's a good thing. Yeah, we have to tighten them. Next up, we need to get that hub off. So from what I've seen, you basically just hit it with a hammer and try to get it to break loose because that thing is snugged on there tight. So I guess next up, let's just start hammering away.
Years later.
Holy crap! We got the stupid thing off. That took forever. That is the worst thing in the world to take off.
It's a lot of hammering.
Jesus,
Just
man.
a little bit.
But you can see there it's all off. It was held on by RTV. It's like freaking rusted to it or whatever. Jeez, yeah, look at that.
It's so
Look how
bent into
bad we
shape.
bashed that in.
Some of the studs aren't straight anymore.
No, we missed and hit some of the studs, but it's no big deal because we have a whole new one. So next up, we have to clean this whole outer edge, this inside area, and then we can go and put the new one on, which we'll see how that one goes.
Yep.
We still got to do a whole other side. Okay, so we have this whole surface area all cleaned up and ready to go now. So I think we can go ahead and throw the new hub and stuff on here. I'll go and show you guys the new one. These are the ones from AutoZone. They are the Duralast hub assemblies. There's the part number. I think we already showed it to you guys, but we'll go ahead and crack this thing open. So here's everything it comes with. You get new bolts and hardware and stuff. Looks like they already are thread locked, which is kind of nice. And then the hub itself. Let me set you guys up here for a second.
Shiny.
Yeah, all nice new. Comes with the new ABS wheel speed sensor, so that's kind of nice. Nice and clean, so we should be able to go ahead and throw this thing on there and get this done. Be the same process as what we just did to remove it, just in reverse. So as far as installing this goes, I just want to make sure that that wheel speed sensor is on this side because it looks like it's going to be a little tricky to line up. So we should be able to just slide it on here. Maybe. And that should be good. All we gotta do is just put our bolts in. You can see the wheel speed sensor sets here. So everything should be good now. We'll throw our axle nut on here, which, I don't know, you and I were just kind of messing with, and
I'm not sure if that's gonna fit.
it is a little bit mashed on top. So I don't think, we tried getting it on as hard as we could without cross-threading or anything. And it basically just ends up,
Stopping itself.
yeah. I mean, it's good up to there.
And then
And then like catches on something here. So we are going to get a new axle nut, I believe, from AutoZone. So we'll run and do that here in a little bit. But for now, I just want to go ahead and get the whole hub assembly on here and have it finished. So now we have managed to get the hub on. It's bolted on in the back, torqued down to 85 foot-pounds of torque. So it's all set to go. Only thing that's left to do is go ahead and put the axle nut on and connect our wheel speed sensor, which we have here. We need to take the old one off first, and it just travels up into here and goes into the engine bay. You can see like the cord there, and then it connects
I'm wiggling it.
right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. I don't know if it's too
Here,
dark
come
for you
on.
guys. Yeah,
The
it's
light.
this connector here. So we'll disassemble this one here and then connect the new one. As for the other side, it's right there on the other side of the coolant reservoir. So we'll go ahead and do the other side here in a bit. For now, let's go ahead and finish up this side. And I guess as far as the other side goes, I just kind of want to get that one done without having to film it. Makes things a little bit easier. And once we get it all done, we'll take this thing out on drive and see if everything is fixed. Okay, so we went ahead, we got that all hooked up. It's good to go. And next up, we can go ahead, put on our rotor and our caliper. And luckily enough, this kit did come with new bolts, and they are right here. So let's go ahead and install that next. Okay, so there you guys have it. We have it all done now. It's completely installed. The only thing left to do is install the axle nut, which I had mentioned that before. Unfortunately, our kit that we got didn't come with an axle nut, so we're gonna have to run to AutoZone and go get a new one, just because that one, it kind of went on, but when we hit it with a hammer, it misshapen it too much, so it doesn't quite work. So we're gonna need to run to AutoZone, go get a new axle nut to fix this. It'll probably have to be tomorrow because
It's late.
It's dark outside. So everything's closed. For now, I think we're just going to leave this here. We'll come back in the morning. We'll get that all buttoned up and do the other side. And then when we come back, we will go ahead, take this thing out for a test drive, and
Make sure it's
see if
all
everything's
good.
fixed. So I guess we'll see you guys here in a little bit. What's up, everybody? So now it is the next day. Luke and I ended up running. We got the new axle nuts that we needed, which they were in this box here. The Dorman ones. There's a part number for you guys if you guys are interested in those. You will need these on like anything newer than like 2003, I believe. So we kind of found that out the hard way, but luckily we got those now. And we ended up getting this side all done now. So this side's completed as well as the other side. The only thing that's left to do is go ahead and torque everything down and take this thing out for a test drive. Now as far as torquing goes, I believe the axle nuts need to be torqued down to 185 foot-pounds. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so far you guys can see there's no check engine lights or anything on the dash aside from like a tire light that we have there. I do know that the tire in the back is a little bit low, but we're gonna go ahead and try to drive this anyway and see if anything kicks on. All right, so here we are on our first little maiden voyage to see how this thing does. So far so good. I'm not hearing any noises. No check engine lights are coming on aside from the tire pressure light, which I already showed you guys. Yeah, I'm not hearing anything. It seems to be doing pretty good. Maybe we'll turn up here and see how it handles like left and right turns. Because I know before this had the whole issue thing, it did make a little bit of a noise when you take a left. Let's just take a left here and see what happens. Then we can come back around and make a right turn and see if anything happens.
Seems alright.
Yeah, sounds pretty good. Oh yeah, we can do a full right
Yeah,
here.
full right.
Maybe we can pick it up and speed just a little bit, see what happens. Oh, that's just the tire light kicking on again. Just let me know I got a low tire. You want to go and show them that?
Yeah.
This is very low, so we'll need to fix that. We'll definitely put some air into it, but I think it's good for now.
I mean, I don't hear anything.
Okay, well, there you guys go. Vehicle's all fixed. It seems to be fine, not having any issues. The only light that we got on is the tire light, which was already on to begin with. This thing needs a little bit more attention to it as far as like wheels and tires and a few more maintenance things. This car has been gone for a little while, so hopefully we can bring this thing back on the channel and start doing more stuff to it, just because it's been a little while. I mean, we had talked about it, and it's just my mom's kind of daily driver at the moment. We'll be sure to do more stuff to it. We got plenty of other things in mind. There is a few more little maintenance things that need to happen to it, like the sway bar end link you could see on the driver's side was gone. The brakes in the front, they were looking a little rough, a little crusty. So
yeah,
we'll need to do something about those. And then I still want to do some of the fun stuff, like we had the fender flares, which I do have the fender flares. We just haven't had an opportunity to install them just yet. So hopefully here in the future we'll be able to have a chance to do that. And then yeah, wheels and tires. The tire light keeps kicking on. The tires are looking pretty bald, so I think it's time for new wheels and tires on this thing. So if we get to that point, we can do a little bit of an upgrade. So hopefully this all works out. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated. We'll probably do an update video and just kind of talk about the Explorer and everything that needs to happen and get done. So stay tuned for that. But otherwise, if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.